the Jonah Hill saga keeps getting worse. Now his ex, Sarah Brady, is just spamming her Instagram story with countless screenshots of their past conversations and continues making herself look even worse. She's making herself look like the toxic one. Siobhan had tweeted about this, and she said...
Her tweet was hilarious.
Yeah, Jonah's ex is now spamming dozens of screenshots of old texts that blatantly make her look like the bad guy, basically proving her issue is that he moved on. Impressive turnaround time, and implying conservative men are abusive, LOL. Like, to claim that Jonah Hill, of all people, is conservative... and that he purposefully like sought out to date liberal women just to abuse them is insane. Whatever people think of him, controlling, insecure, etc., none of that was bad enough to warrant this level of privacy breach or obsession. This is unhinged. So
it should make everyone a little bit worried, right? When it's like everything you send someone now, you do have to ask yourself, will this end up in the public eye?
Yeah, she's literally posted a screenshot of one of his texts to her. So
what was he doing?
It's getting out of hand. She has now revealed that 6 months after their breakup, they were still in contact, which is both of their faults. She said, he kept me on as a close emotional confidant after the breakup, sexting me on July 13th, 2022, visited me at my apartment in my hometown early August 2022, and then waited till a week after I moved to Hawaii for law school to send me a text being like, by the way, I'm in a new relationship. And I think we're getting to the root cause of why this has all come to light. She's bitter that he moved on and committed to someone else when she wanted she wanted to get married and have kids with him. And that's what I was speculating about yesterday. But someone else said, you know, maybe she was the one that was delaying that. I'm pretty sure it was the other way around.
No, she saw the dollar signs.
He had all of these preconditions. And whether you think they're reasonable or not, he had preconditions for that type of commitment in a relationship. When you have
that much money and power, you are allowed to have... It's an unfair fact of life. When you have all the money, when you have all the power, you're allowed to have the preconditions.
It's also been revealed that he was sending her money and still financially supporting her for months after they were broken up, which is also his fault. That's on him. Mm-hmm. That's a stupid decision. So let's go through some of these screenshots. He texted her in August after this visit to her hometown happened, saying, I know I don't need to, but in the spirit of pure respect to our friendship and appreciation for each other, I did want to be transparent that I did start dating someone recently, who I presume is his now fiance, who's just had his baby a month ago. I'm sorry if this is painful. It just happened, and I didn't want to not be transparent with you ever, as I care about you. She replied, thanks for letting me know. Probably best if we don't talk for a while and you figure out where that's headed.
She probably should. They should have just stopped right there.
Right. Exactly.
Like, well, it's over.
They should have stopped communicating after they broke up, which would make the most sense. But because they didn't, as so many people have done in the past,
very normal.
This has happened. Yep. I mean, it's a recipe for disaster if you're still in contact after breaking up. And then she texted him later on, not that it's really my business, but out of my own personal chicks before dicks code. If that's headed anywhere other than hookup or fling, I'd appreciate if you make that woman aware of how recently you've been flirting with me, sexting me, and leaning on me for partner level emotional support. He replied, I'm sorry, what? Thank you. Thank you.
Yes, yes, yes.
Yes, yes, yes.
Somewhere, somehow, there's somebody watching a segmented version of this in the near future saying, what the hell is that sound effect?
And why are they saying yes, yes, yes?
And why are they saying yes, yes, yes? If you're watching this, ladies and gentlemen, in the future, I'm literally predicting the future right now. It is a crisis party, which comes in when you reach a certain amount of super chats right here, and it sets off the crisis meter. That's this thing down in the corner that I can't even point at.
Thank you for that explanation.
Yes.
He continued, I've been there for you as a friend, which I have made very clear. And not only is it not your business, as I only mentioned it to you out of respect and friendship, but I have not been flirting with you or sexting you in any way where it would be inappropriate at this time to start dating someone. And if anything, I have felt for your change and tried to be good and a supportive friend.
I actually want you to reread her part again. It's insane. Like, you need to reread her part again.
He reacted to it with a thumbs down emoji. And as for all these texts, these are conversations that should have been happening with them face to face, especially the ones that were happening while they were still together.
Yep.
So it's a mark of immaturity on both of them that they were arguing over text rather than face to face.
Reread her.
She said,
I can't stress enough how nuts this is.
Not that it's really my business, but out of my own personal chicks before dicks code, if that's headed anywhere other than a hookup or fling, I'd appreciate if you make that woman aware of how recently you've been flirting with me, sexting me, and leaning on me for partner level emotional support.
It's not your business. Like, I guess you could go and tell her, but that would make you nuts too. It's not your business. You're not with him anymore,
also,
dude.
Like, it's kind of weird timing, because if you put it together, the woman he's with now, his fiance, who just had his kid, was probably pregnant very early on into their relationship. It seems like he was pretty desperate to start a family and put a ring on someone. It was just the right time.
And he's like, any surfer will do.
He said, to be crystal clear, I have not flirted or sexted with you in any way, shape, or form in months, and went to say goodbye to you as a super kind gesture that you seem to have appreciated because it was kind. And when he texted her this, it was about a month and a half, I guess, since the sexting happened. Yep. And then he said, I'm sorry if it's upsetting that I would move on at all 6 months later, but I have handled you with the utmost love and respect. Don't ruin all the kindness. You're better than that. And then she responded with a screenshot of the sext that he sent her a month before. It says, no, just holding my hard beep.
I was hoping you were going to say it, but,
July 13th, 2022.
Wait, what date?
July 13th, 2022.
That's coming up. By the way, my 2-year anniversary of working here. So
it was a month and a half before he announced he was in a new relationship. And she said, whatever helps you get through the day. Gotta focus on mine now. Adios.
So weird.
And he said, new side of you, Sarah. I care about you and will always be your friend, as I have been. Yes, we sexted 2 months ago. Screenshotting intimate texts between us is a huge triggering violation for me. The amount of therapy speak here is going to make your eyeballs roll into the back of your head. And a breach of trust as a friend, as I have explained to you about breaches of trust I've had between trusted friends recently that have caused me trauma. I am incredibly hurt and feel a lack of safety where I have always trusted you. I'm sorry if a former partner moving on is painful, and I empathize with that, but I have done nothing wrong, and if I wasn't a public person, I wouldn't face this kind of violation, and having shared that with you, and then watching you be like this today shatters my ability to trust anybody even further. I have always shown you kindness and support. I have nothing to hide in my life, but I am still entitled to safety and privacy just like you or anyone else is. I thought you'd understand and honor that. This has really shattered my sense of faith in that you were a human I could trust. I thought we could always be friends. I've done nothing wrong, and I'm sorry if you're bummed, but this line of texting today has really deeply let me down and broken my trust as a friend. Then she said, I'm just showing your own text to me. Can you put yourself in my shoes for a sec? How I might feel gaslit by your behavior and communication? They're both using the therapy speak at this point. He said, so to say you feel gaslit when I was being nice is absurd. You are hurt that I kissed someone and am beginning to date. Fair. You have not been gaslit. You have been treated, in fact, incredibly, both emotionally and financially. So there literally is no winning for me.
Told you he was paying for everything.
Even after their breakup, that's just undignified, dude.
It's just blackmail at that point.
I don't know to what extent he was financially supporting this woman, but I mean, if you're doing that at all, especially like a joint bank account, and you're not even engaged or married, that's insane. And I believe that financial support is the reason why she at first complied with his requests, like delete this picture, abide by my rules, because she wanted the bag, and she's superficial and can't admit to that. So now she's spinning this victim narrative. He said, as someone who claims to care about me, I would think you would have seen my effort and not go and immediately victimize yourself. It sucks to see that. I wish you didn't have to. It sucks that they said your name. The media is trash. They have all but
he
ruined
admitted
my
it.
life, but to say I haven't been awesome to you is absurd. I didn't expect this from you. Call me if you need to talk today. I can't keep holding on to this absurdity. I have given you 6 months of love, care, and compassion post-breakup. That's kind of bunk. I mean, you were sexting and you were still emotionally attached the whole time.
They should have just cut it off
Just
at the end of the relationship, which is
Yeah.
to be fair, is always
put
harder.
all that
easier
therapy
said
to
than
good
done.
work.
Yeah.
Get your money's worth out of
It's
all
like
that
this-
therapy
it's the
and make
sunken
some
cost
boundaries.
It's the sunken cost fallacy.
This
and
guy
they're like,
talks
"We're
a
gonna
lot
keep
about
trying."
boundaries for someone who's still sexting and financially supporting his ex.
It doesn't
6
say
months
who-
post-breakup.
It doesn't say who started the sexting. Did she send the first sext and did he respond?
I mean,
Or-
at least he knows what his money accomplishes. He knows that he can get a woman to abide by his rules, however reasonable or unreasonable they may be, by dangling the money bags in front of her. He said, even you want to abuse my fame to victimize yourself when you've been cared for and loved. We haven't had sex. I've taken care of you financially and been an incredible friend. No friend is taking care of their friend financially and texting them about their hard ding dong. That's not a friendly thing. I don't really do that with my friends personally.
Shocking that you don't.
Maybe you guys need to learn a little bit about boundaries.
Yeah, but I was gonna say, you don't know what she said. You don't know if she
I don't.
initiated it or not. But they're both stupid for
They're both
continuing
dumb.
this on.
They're both toxic. They both sound like incredibly insufferable people to be around. And I think to do some damage control, don't subject yourselves on anyone else. Stay together. You deserve each other.
Yeah,
So-
just get married and have another kid.
She responded, did you have
No, go ahead.
another point? She responded, you have been kind and supportive and also in need of my support, and that's been confusing to me as to where we stand. This is why I use the word gaslight. I'm not saying it's intentional. Intentional is in the definition of what gaslighting is,
Yes.
guys. I'm feeling really effing shocked and confused right now, wondering how soon before you met me you were still talking to Gianna. Gianna is the name of some other woman, not his current fiance. 5 months ago, we were in escrow here. You wanted to put a ring on my finger, put a baby in me ASAP, and we've kept in pretty close, intimate communication since then. Sad to hear you feel used by me. I feel used by you too. I feel like an idiot for believing that the future we were planning was real and for adjusting my life in ways that accommodated your insecurities and jealousy and codependent, anxious avoidant attachment style, and which left me in a less financially independent and less mentally well positioned. If you wanted to be financially independent, you would not have accepted the offer for his money. Simple as. And if you didn't want to be in intimate communication with someone post-breakup, that's on you. You engaged with it. You're both in the wrong, clearly. And I don't think that this woman is... Like, I don't think she was an abuser, but I think now she's turning into the villain in this story after they've
She was
not
always
been
the
together for like a
villain.
year.
She was always the villain.
She said, I feel in other emotional ways I can get into on the phone. You've been leaning on me for support with your own personal stuff that has nothing to do with me as of very recently. Stuff that doesn't really make sense to share with an ex. You're trying to detach from so you can be ready to meet someone new. And so that you give that ex the respect of a little time and clarity before you move on. I'm not trying to victimize myself. I'm just a person with feelings. I've always felt like I had to be the emotional rock in our relationship. And now that we're not together, I get to be a full human with a full spectrum of emotion again. It's liberating. I think you're doing a lot of projecting with these texts right now. Got to go. And then she texted again, how do you think I feel over here thinking there was still hope for us, saving room in my heart for you, not able to make room for anyone else, being a solid emotional support to you for the past 5 months. Just don't engage with it. Don't be this man's therapist. Whether you're in a relationship or not, that shouldn't be your position. And you shouldn't be financially dependent on someone who has no commitment to you. That was on you. That was your mistake. But a lot of women, I understand, are not taught better about this stuff by their parents or by society. So, you know, poor you.
But it's not just that. Also now we've got Alexa Nicholas coming out and she's got to get her opinion in, because if you don't know Alexa Nicholas, she was protesting outside of Nickelodeon, and now she is saying that
she was doing the slime time protest outside of the Nickelodeon headquarters because she made a bunch of allegations against Dan Schneider, which I would bet are true because it's been corroborated so many times by other former child stars. Yep. But anyway, Alexa Nicholas from Zoe 101 has now come out with her own allegations against Jonah Hill because his name is a trending topic right now. It's convenient how you never wanted to talk about this before. So she claimed that Jonah Hill was 24 at the time that they met at a house party. She was 16. And this was a house party Justin Long hosted with his then roommate. She alleged that Justin Long's roommate assaulted her friend who was also 16 or 17 years old at the party. And she said, Jonah Hill came over at some point and we were all pretty wasted because, of course, the predators were feeding us minors a bunch of alcohol.
Why are people like having these parties with... It's just
because they're dumb and it was 2008 and we didn't have Me Too yet. And then she said, Jonah Hill seemed to have his eyes on me because at one point I wanted a cigarette and he said he had one in his car right outside.
His white panel van right outside.
Didn't seem like too much of an effort, so I trusted him. I went outside and he grabbed the cigarettes from his front seat. Once again, I understand that a lot of young women are not taught these things growing up, but you don't go out to the guy's car. One time I was at a gas station and the employee told me I needed a mask to go in. And I obviously was not complying with that. And randomly, this sleazy guy in the corner says, oh, I have a mask. It's in my car. Come with me. Come to my car.
I forgot about that.
And I was
crazy.
Like, no. And he's like, why not? It's right there. It's right outside. And I was like, because you're a weird guy asking me to come to your car. And then the employees were just like, okay, we're not getting involved. And I didn't put on my mask. But you shouldn't have gone out to the car in the first place. That's besides the point. Then she said, Jonah Hill didn't hand me the cigarette, which I thought was weird. And then as we walked back to the door, I asked him for it. And he said nothing, but slammed me to the door and shoved his tongue down my throat. I was so appalled, I pushed him off of me and ran inside. I was 16 and Jonah Hill was 24. Not okay. Then she said...
Did he know how old she was?
Who knows?
Yeah.
I mean, you didn't have smartphones back then. We could just Google someone's age. But
also, it's weird if
you shouldn't... I don't think that
if you have
a
to
good
Google,
idea
it's probably just a better idea to not do it.
It's obviously not a good idea to be at a party where you have minors and adults all drinking alcohol and, you know... It's all weird. It's all weird. But it was a different time. And I doubt that Jonah Hill did know her age. And she said, just to note, Jonah Hill said, if I wanted the cig, I had to come with him outside to get it. He didn't want to go all alone. They were all aware I was 16. She claims they were all aware of her age. And she said this type of predatory behavior was hyper-normalized when I was a kid. I'm proud to see women standing up to abusive men now. Badass. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cringe.
What the girl that was not Alexa Nicholas, but what the other girl was saying was not badass. She's just an annoying, weird woman.
Yeah, like Alexa Nicholas and other former Nickelodeon stars coming out with allegations against Dan Schneider, who was an adult and they were children. All of that, I'm all ears. And I totally believe that there's credibility to those allegations. But when you're lumping them in with Jonah Hill's ex is bitter that he moved on and committed to some other woman, you're discrediting all of it. So no one's going to believe all victims anymore. This is why you shouldn't. And she's discrediting even herself in doing this. And it's awfully convenient that you wait until someone's name is trending to come out with allegations against him. I mean, he could have been a predator against a bunch of other teenagers before you came out and said this, who you were, in a sense, complicit with getting victimized. Like, it's just so hypocritical. And now I also wanted to mention some comments from other unrelated celebrities who felt like jumping on the dog pile. Bethany Frankel talked about meeting Jonah Hill on The Tonight Show with Jay Leno years ago. She said that he acted like a low-grade dick to her. He was put upon and kind of treated me like he was better than me. I felt like a loser and the nobody that I was.
I mean, he sounds like he's always been socially awkward, so maybe it was just
he was probably just standoffish because he's socially awkward.
I'm standoffish. I am standoffish in a lot of the time. That does not mean that I think I'm better than anyone. Quite the opposite.
Yeah. And then another comment from Meghan McCain came out.
Of all people, that wasn't anywhere on my bingo card.
She's defending Jonah Hill. She said, "Is it really so wrong for a man to ask his girlfriend to respect his boundaries? We women do the same all the time. I don't condemn men for telling their partners what they want. Women generally encourage the men in their lives to communicate and avoid harboring bitter feelings." And she said that Sarah Brady is acting like a martyr and threatening Jonah Hill, and her actions are manipulative and unfair. And especially now that these details have come out about her like calculating the timing of it for right after his child is born, and just being so calculated with all this forethought and premeditation, it does make you seem like the villain. And now Sarah Brady has turned into her own worst enemy here.
Yep.
She's still spamming all of these screenshots hoping to get more confirmation bias, and it's all making her look worse.
Yeah.
And it's showing how much poor judgment they both showed in the situation.
Yep. It's I mean, these topics are always like I always lean away from these topics because at the end of the day, like I don't know what their conversations were like in person or what they were like as people, so I can't really know.
I mean, they both seem annoying as all hell.
I do know that they do both sound annoying. So
I also wanted to read this tweet that said, "Say what you will about Trump, but if he had a surfer girlfriend who posted bikini pics, he would repost them himself and brag about her, and his only boundary would be, if you go surfing, shower after. We don't want any sand in the penthouse, okay? Frankly, it's disgusting."
In his voice,
Quite
too.
frankly.
Thanks for watching. Listen to full episodes of Pop Culture Crisis on Spotify.
Keep up with us on social media and make sure you subscribe and ring that bell so you never miss the show. Bye, guys.